Yeah, okay, great.
जय हिंद दोस्तों, मैं हूं मेजर मोहम्मद अली शाह और मेरे को बड़ी खुशी हो रही है कि मैं अभी गुफ्तगू में एक ऐसे शख्स के साथ, एक ऐसी हस्ती के साथ गुफ्तगू में होऊंगा जो बड़ा ही नेक, बहुत ही अच्छा, बड़े काम कर रहे हैं। अभी हाल ही में कुछ दिन पहले मैं कलकत्ता में था। अंतरा मोहन एक यंग ऑथर हैं, इनकी बुक लॉन्च करने के लिए। तो जिनका नाम है ब्लिसफुली योर्स ऑलवेज। इट्स अ बुक on spirituality, and I would recommend everyone to read that book. It is there on Amazon, on Flipkart. It's there on the nearest bookstore. It's the best. It's selling like hotcakes. तब जो क्लोजिंग एड्रेस करने को जो शख्स ने क्लोजिंग एड्रेस करा, मिस्टर सुदीप सेन, and I was so impressed by the work that he does. I immediately walked up to him and I requested him, sir, if you could just take out a few minutes. I know you're very, very busy. If you could take out some time for me, I would like to interview you on the good work that you do. And he gracefully agreed. And I'm very privileged to have him on the show with us. Let me tell you a bit about him, very, very brief. इतना मैं बोलूंगा तो भी ना इंसाफी, मगर फिर भी अगर मैं आपको बताऊं, he has pioneered the toilets in the country, starting from the Indian Railways to many slums, villages, fairgrounds, factories, construction sites, hospitals, and many more. More than 10,000 installations have been installed all over India, and when integrated with proprietary behavioral training programs, resulted in elimination of waterborne diseases. He has helped prevent diseases, in fact. That's in the site areas and many more. In schools that increase enrollments and reduce dropouts. Just imagine the kind of work, the noble work he's been doing. And I truly believed at that time when I heard the kind of work, people call him a social entrepreneur, but he does it for a noble cause. And of course, that's a different thing. It's a byproduct of what he gets in return of the good, noble work he does. And in slum areas, eliminated infant mortality rate and improved material health. Now, his story would be fascinating and inspiring for every discerning citizen. And I certainly feel that this story is what requires TED to cover. Now, he has revolutionized the hygiene and sanitation in India. Let's go ahead. And he could have made a lot of money in the corporate sector where he was working, but it was a calling that he took. He gave it up and he took on this cause. Let's go ahead, straight in conversation with Mr. Sudip Sen. Sir, Jai Hind, and thank you very much for taking your time, sir.
Jai Hind, Major Shah. I'm not very good at saluting as you are, and it was all very nice to hear such a nice introduction that you gave about me. The only thing is I'm trying hard, and I'm trying to go with the flow wherever life is taking you. And somehow it was never planned that way. And I would always say that if you're there at the right place at the right time, with a vision and with a purpose, then the entire universe will guide you towards a guiding light. And that's probably what's happened with me. I started in a very normal way, conventional, after doing my mechanical engineering and passing out post-graduation in industrial engineering from NITI Mumbai, which today is the Indian Institute of Management Mumbai, a very premier institute. And so, having been properly fortified with knowledge, then I joined, which is today the best group in India and probably amongst the best in the world, the Tata Group. And that's when I joined Telco, it was called that time, in Jamshedpur. And I worked in the industrial engineering department, and I had such a comfortable life. There was a time when I was thinking that, is this all that I can do? There was a fire burning at that point of time, and I thought, let me take some risks and try to do something different. Let me try to make some impact everywhere. With all due respect to the Tata Group, it was so big, you really couldn't see that you were making a big impact over there. So it was always in my mind. And then after launching from there, I had a very roller coaster type of a journey, a very thrilling journey in which I launched two products for the first time in India, multi-wall paper sacks and diamond tools, completely different in their own way. And I gained a lot of fame and recognition as somebody who could adapt foreign technology to Indian conditions. And that's again when I happened to stumble across my old friend and my batchmate at NITI, who was the MD of a company called Stone India Limited at that point of time, an 80-year-old engineering company which was supplying technical, technically very advanced products to the Indian Railways. And whenever Indian Railways had a problem, they used to go to Stone India for solutions. And that's what when Indian Railways came out with a very peculiar problem. They said that the people are using the toilets and they're just it's just splattering on our undercarriages and getting totally splattered on our tracks. And this not only increases the huge maintenance costs, but it's spreading diseases and diarrhea everywhere. And this is a big scourge of the country, and we need to stop it immediately. That's when Stone India took up the challenge, and that's when I happened to land up there at the right time, at the right place. And Mr. Mandal, who was the MD there, he thought that I could be the person who could convert his idea into a business. And that's when my journey started in 2010 with developing biotoilets for the Indian Railways. Now, if you go to Indian Railways 15 years later, you will not find a single toilet in which you can see the tracks. It's all being generated into a biodigester tank, which converts the toxic waste into non-toxic water, and that was the technology. Now, a biotoilet doesn't need any septic tank, it doesn't need any sewer line, it doesn't need any conventional construction materials. We develop prefabricated toilet systems which can be used immediately. And so it was so useful in the slums, in the villages, in the fairgrounds, where immediate use of the toilets were required. No long time for curing, no long time to build. And so at that point of time, it was a boon for the hygiene and sanitation sector. And when we delved deeper, we found that this was a huge social problem. 60% of India's population used to defecate in the open. And because of that, the country was losing billions of dollars due to diseases of diarrhea and dysentery and waterborne diseases. And fortunately, our honorable Prime Minister, he saw this problem. And on 2014, on the ramparts of the Red Fort, he announced Swachh Bharat Mission, Clean India Mission, which became famous throughout the country and which is still going into its various avatars, still on. And in this first phase of the project, millions of toilets were built, conventional toilets. The only problem was that probably it was not integrated with the proper behavioral change program, which I could see. And I was the first to introduce the behavioral change program integrated with the new biotoilet technology, which will ensure that people will move from the fields into the toilets, which was not happening earlier. In fact, there was a joke that India had 10 times more cell phones than toilets. And, the villagers and the slum dwellers used to have lovely cell phones, but they not use the toilet. Why? Because poor people don't want poor toilets. They said that we are very happy defecating in the open. So they needed somebody to show them why defecating in the open was so bad for hygiene and sanitation. And we could very effectively get across to them and tell them that the flies and insects was settling on the defecation and then getting into the food and water and causing diarrhea, dysentery, and so much of absentees. And the same concept was then taken further into the schools, where the Rotary International District devised a wonderful program called Wash in Schools, where they understood, and I was one of the pioneers who did biotoilet projects with them, that just by providing the toilets was not enough. You have to see that the water supply was adequate. You have to provide clean drinking water. You have to see that you have enough water to clean the toilets. You have to see that you have proper hand washing facilities. And everybody started to realize the importance of hand washing only when COVID came. Then everybody said that you have to wash your hands before food, wash your hands after, what they were doing before that. But during our projects for hygiene and sanitation, we had already identified that as a key aspect. And so any project that we do looks at the water supply, they looks at the drinking water, looks at water treatment, looks at hand washing stations, looks at the integrated behavioral change program, and then, of course, you give the best of the biotoilets, and then supplement by menstrual hygiene management for the girls, and later on for the women in the slums. And particularly with all this thing together, using the systems approach, we could get the measurable results of seeing that there was more productivity, better health, better hygiene, particularly for the women and the girls, which, if we are to achieve Viksit Bharat in the years to come, then we have to see that our women folk work as well as our men folk, and they can be the cheerleaders in our society, which is unfortunately not the case today. Even today, girls, they are dropping out due to lack of proper hygiene and sanitation. Women, they have to go out into the fields to study, to defecate. And now the more that we can use these projects, now my entire array of products has germinated from bio toilets to smart toilets to mobile toilets to hand washing stations, integrated programs, to solar street lights, which are so important for women's safety. And therefore, to women's, we want to clean up and light up, Indian villages and slums. And of course, the solar pump systems, which the government of India has introduced for Jal Jeevan Mission, Har Nal Pani, ये प्रयास रहेंगी कि हर जगह में, हर मोहल्ले में, हर नल में पानी रहेगी. तो जल जीवन मिशन इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ दैट. तो अभी हमारा जितना भी प्रोडक्ट रेंज है, चार चार फैक्ट्री से बनता है. गाजियाबाद में है, सिलीगुड़ी में है, हावड़ा में है, गुजरात में है, और ये सारे चार वेंडर्स के थ्रू ये सारा प्रोडक्ट्स का अरे हो जाता है. And my job is to see that they are integrated together, so that we can provide the best social measurable benefit. And this has become a passion, because earlier, when we are doing conventional products, you're not really making an impact. Here, somebody once said that if you can make people smile, then that is the biggest gift that you can have during the course of your career. And I can safely say that I have made thousands and lakhs of people smile through providing better hygiene and sanitation. And I don't leave it till it's absolutely done in my small way. But let me tell you that our country requires much, much more to be done. And I would like all of you who are listening in here to join hands with me in this journey. We need funds from global NGOs. We need donor funds. We need philanthropic funds. We need corporate social responsibility, which our country has been using for a very long time. The members of parliament have local area development funds. All our product ranges and the impact they create are all eligible from these funds. Rotary International and Global grants in millions of dollars, they also are very eligible to use to implement our projects. So I am always on the lookout for partners, for alliances, where we can join on this journey together and make a difference, so that we can actually get India to be Viksit Bharat, and be a 5 trillion economy, and cross Japan and Germany to become the third largest power. It cannot be done without the best of hygiene and sanitation. And that's the journey which I have made my life's mission. And with advancement of technology, and I hope and pray, and with so interested and energetic persons like the Major throwing their hat in the ring, and I look forward to working together with all of you, with Indian citizens at large. Let us do this thing together. This is not a journey where I'm treading the path alone. When you tread the path alone, you can go a very small distance. But when you tread the path together, then you can reach Mount Everest. You cannot climb the top of Mount Everest on a helicopter. It's very, very hard work. And we have to journey over 1,000 miles, begins with single steps. And let's hope that this podcast, this YouTube, can energize all of you to make a mark. And let's join in this journey, because our country really needs it. Especially if you have seen the last budget, tourism sector has become a very prominent part of the economy. And without foreign exchange inflows, then we cannot expect our country to rise to that level. And for the foreign tourists, we do not have a proper hygiene sanitation systems. So therefore, we need to install more smart toilets. We need to look at the Northeast. We need to look at Pan India, and we need to look at the poor villages and the slums, particularly the slums. If you've ever bothered to go to the slums, you will find that there's hardly any water there. There's no space there. Our bio toilets are the only solutions there, and I must be very grateful to the Honorable Mayor of Kolkata, who has so kindly been able to install so many washrooms and bio toilets and portable toilets. And I'm very grateful to all the government agencies who have patronized the Border Security Force. In fact, recently, due to all the skirmishes which are happening on the borders, the Indian Defense Forces recruited so many ladies, but as happened so many times, they forgot to give them proper sanitation. So I was, again, being the right place at the right time, we could give them some wonderful bio toilets so that the poor ladies can use them, and then only they can contribute to looking for the borders and looking after our safety. And so these things will continue to go, the requirements will continue to come in, and the various government departments, Kumbh Mela, and all these big public congregations, they will all require state-of-art sanitations. In fact, in the last Kumbh Mela, the Guinness Book of World Records had, we had also participated there, and they had given a Guinness Book of World Records for the cleanest congregation of pilgrims ever. Uh, I'm sure if you all join in this journey, you will all get the magic of the nectar and and the intoxication which I have. We are sort of neutralizing the toxic waste, but in the process, we are toxifying ourselves. And this is a journey which is limitless. And as our population keeps growing, the needs for proper hygiene, sanitation, and clean energy, particularly in view of climate resilience, climate mitigation. All these new technologies in hygiene and sanitation will generate less carbon dioxide and will contribute to climate resilience using less water, less power. So everything of this sort of upgradation in technology will contribute to climate mitigation and climate resilience. And this has risen to lots of other sources of funds for these projects. Global Climate Fund is there. Any sort of projects in water, sanitation, hygiene, clean energy are eligible for climate resilience funds. So let's all join together. Major Sahib, I've talked a lot off the cuff, and
No,
thank you
no,
so much for giving such
no.
a patient hearing. And
Of course, it was very interesting to hear you. So, as you
I've
were
tried to
speaking, as you were
encapsulate in a
speaking, there were,
nutshell. Yeah, yeah,
so, so as you were speaking, there were a lot of comments coming in, and I can see Sheetal Bagaria's comment. Mr. Sen deserves a Padma Shri. That's what she had to say, one of the viewers. And of course, when you set out, you didn't. I'm sure you didn't have anything of that sort in mind.
yeah.
You just wanted to do good work,
Not
and you want to make a difference
only
all
that.
over the country.
You see, I have come to the stage of my life where I understand that the first 25 years you learn, next 25 years you earn, and the last 25 years you return. So that's what I'm trying to
Oh,
do.
wow.
And I get a
Learn, work,
tremendous
and
amount of
return.
passion. Yeah. Yes.
Learn, work, and return.
Yeah. Learn, earn, and return, or
Learn, earn, and
rhyming
return.
words.
Wow,
Yeah. So
wow,
I'm in the
wow.
return
Good.
phase, and I'm getting a huge passion. I'm reaching almost 70 now, but I feel every day is a new day, and I feel a huge amount of energy that who am I going to, whose life am I going to improve today? And that's the energy which takes me forward, and that's the motivation which I have, and which is limitless now, because the development of the products, it hones my engineering senses, and the management of the projects, it hones my management senses. So it's very satisfying from the point of view of engineering management, and it gets further enhanced by making social impact, and all this together, I would be blessed by God that he's given this opportunity for me to tread the surface and give a little bit back to society, which needs it so badly. Yeah.
Right. So while you are speaking, one thing comes to my mind is right now in Prayagraj, there's this Kumbh Mela going on, Mahakumbh Mela going on right now. And there was this
Yeah.
young boy whose girlfriend advised him, why don't you sell Datun? And he came up with his business idea of selling Datun. Well, then he became a very rich man overnight, in fact. So you have planted your footprints all over the countryside. You think of doing this project during the Mahakumbh as well, sir?
Yes, actually, the Mahakumbh this time, in a way, I mean, we have contributed. One of my channel partners, we have supplied thousands, hundreds of mobile toilets over there, right? One of our channel vendors based in Siliguri. So that little contribution is there. In the last Mahakumbh, which was the last Kumbh Mela in 2019, we were directly associated with providing lots of portable toilets there. So certainly, the Kumbh Mela, not only in Prayagraj, in Ujjain, in Haridwar, in various of these places, anywhere where there is a huge congregation of pilgrims will certainly require this type of prefabricated toilet systems where the conventional systems won't work. But then at the end of the day, it is a social business. So I have not yet been able to become an NGO. So therefore, wherever I can get my hands on the necessary funds, there I will run to do the projects. We had wherever I could do it for this Kumbh Mela in a small way. We did it. We did it for the last time also. So it all depends on the proper supply of funds. So everybody needs the toilets, but we have to find out where the funding is available. That is a very, very important part of the social business, basically. I mean, I am not making any claims to being a social activist or a charitable institution. It is, at the end of the day, it's a social business, and that's why I call myself social entrepreneur. But then it's the impact which is made which ultimately gives you the passion and the motivation and the courage to move forward.
Right, sir. Makes sense, sir.
Yeah,
Makes sense,
yeah.
absolutely. And sir, before I let you go, a last question that comes to my mind is, if you can see this badge is from the Director General Assam Rifles competition card that I got recently especially for my analysis on my coverage on Manipur, in fact. So there are a lot of relief camps in Manipur right now of both the communities of the Maiti and the Cookies. And I think the need for them is also bio toilets, in fact, what you specialize in. So have you thought of establishing something there, sir?
Major Saab, you've hit on my favorite subject. And that favorite subject is that more than any other part of India, and before China gobbles it up, we need to do something very disruptive in the Northeast as far as hygiene and sanitation is concerned. So there's a lot of unrest, a lot of resurgent groups, lots of stuff going on in the Northeast. And recently there was a TV serial Patal Lok 2, which highlighted the various problems which is going on in Nagaland, and not many of us know about it. Yes, the relief camps, not only in India but even in Myanmar for the Rakhine refugees, anywhere where there are refugees or relief camps, that is the place where you very badly need to have these portable biotoilets. Now it's a question of the awareness of the need for that to improve the lives of these poor people. And in fact, recently there was an inquiry from Nigeria that they need so many portable toilets for disaster relief. And apart from anything else, they are the perfect solution for disaster relief, for relief camps. So let's get together and catch hold of people who will fund for these toilets. That, as I said again, being very pragmatic, that we need to find the proper agency who would be sufficiently interested and invested to be able to invest in funds so that we can provide the biotoils. From my side, we'll be able to completely revolutionize hygiene and sanitation in these relief camps, because I'm sure that without the proper means there, they must be having a very terrible time. And not only in Manipur, in so many places all over India and all over the world, where so much of strife is going on, where people are being displaced and they need to be rehabilitated. This is the first place where where these portable biotoilets have to be done. Oh, Major Saab, please go ahead and let's get together and let's help these people over there. And any of these people who have been displaced in the communities, they need it badly. And it's happening. It's in West Bengal also. Wherever there are, displaced people who need to be rehabilitated, this requirement will have to come up there. And it is also a wonderful product for flood relief, for earthquake relief, for disaster relief. So it's so much of this invention has so much of outlet everywhere. And thanks to in India, which is very aware, and the CSR norms, they allow that this could be done. But having said all this, let me tell you that we need to focus on the hygiene and sanitation of women and women in slums and villages, and of course in the urban areas also, and girls in schools. And not only because they have been deprived the most, because we need them badly uh, uh, to take our country forward to where it's going to be headed, as per the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister. Viksit Bharat can happen when we all put our hands together. And we're
Right,
looking
sir.
forward to the journey. I
Yes,
invite
sir.
as many women as possible to join this journey and make the lot better for you all, because you all need it so badly. And whenever I go to the slums, I always find that it's the women who come forward and they are so energetic, they're so motivated, they want to improve themselves, but they need somebody to guide them on the way. Even the girls in schools, they all want to be pilots, engineers, doctors, army officers, but they need somebody to show them the way. Let's do this all together.
Right, sir. So, such good work you've been doing. I'm very curious to know what kind of support have you received from the central government and from the state governments too. And thirdly, what kind of support have you received from the corporate companies who deal in CSR? Because I think it can be a very, very good project for the corporates to make this as a part of the corporate social responsibility project, sir. So, these are the three questions I would like to ask you, sir.
Yes, you see, without the support of the central government and the state government and the corporate social, I would not be talking to you today. Because all these 10,000 installations have been funded 99% from CSR fund. We've done with Tatas, we've done with Pillas, we've done with the big corporates everywhere. And we have tapped on central government funds, we have tapped on MP-led funds. So a lot of the work is government. And I have got, wherever I have gone, I have got a very, very positive response. But as I appeal to all of the listeners who are listening here, God has gifted me with two hands and 2 feet. And so I have very limited way to approach the powers that be. I'm doing it of my own. And doing it on my own over 15 years, I've been able to do so far. But that's only scratching the surface, the tip of the iceberg. We need to move together. So we need to tap the maximum CSR funds. We need to tap the maximum of the central government. And nowadays, government tenders are being published for bio toilets in oil rigs, in public sector companies, in open spaces. Everybody has come to realize the importance of bio toilet. It was not the case when Swachh Bharat 1 was launched, but now people have realized that you need to have proper human waste treatment. Otherwise, you are leaving beside a trail of dirt and filth. And even today, you will find that deaths are reported every single day of sanitation workers losing their life in septic tanks. If we had replaced all these septic tanks with the biodigester decentralized systems, then all these deaths would not be caused. And it's a huge uphill journey. We need to replace the conventional systems slowly and steadily, one step at a time. But with all of you putting your hands together, we can make a conglomerate and move together as an unstoppable juggernaut, and see that we can really build our country to that level. Because, as I said again, hygiene and sanitation is the cornerstone, the pillar on which our country will move forward. So it is not just a business; it's a national agenda more than anything else. And I'm so happy to see that illustrious personalities like Major Shah, they are also joining in, and I hope all his fans are joining in here also. And I look forward to lots of continuous interaction so that we can move together and improve our country one step at a time.
राइट सर. सर एक और बात पूछनी है आपसे. कुछ चंद एक साल पहले, अबाउट 5-6 years बैक प्लस, देयर वाज अ फिल्म बाय अक्षय कुमार, पैडमैन एंड टॉयलेट. आपका विचार क्या है उस फिल्म के बारे में सर, अगर आपने देखी है तो?
वो अक्षय कुमार तो हम सल्यूट मारेंगे कि वो ये सब जो है नोबल कॉजेस में शुरू से योगदान करते आ रहे थे. हम दोनों फिल्म्स हम देखे हैं. हम जो कंपनी में था, वी हैड स्पॉन्सर्ड दैट, कम यू हैव टू सी टॉयलेट. माय टीम, आई टुक माय होल टीम टू सी टॉयलेट एंड पैडमैन. They are two sides of the same coin. Toilet pointed out the problems of the women. ये औरत लोग जो इतना माइल्स जाना पड़ता है अपना डेफिकेशन करने के लिए, हाँ, टट्टू करने के लिए, जैसे एंड दे सो स्कैर्ड ऑफ द मेन फोक, दे हैव टू गो आउट माइल्स. तो ये बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम था. ये टॉयलेट में एक प्रेम कथा. इट टॉक्स अबाउट अ वुमन who refused to get married because there was no toilet for her. And believe me, even today, there are huge mindsets in the Indian economy, in the Indian social milieu. If you've seen the film Mrs. from Z5, you will come to understand how mindsets are there in apparently very civilized urban society also. And it's these mindsets we have to change. These rapes happen mostly because I say that the men folk are not educated properly, apart from anything else. So the poor women have to battle all these illnesses, and we have to help them some way or other. So Toilet Ek Prem Katha brought out this social problem in a very good way, and it gave rise to women empowerment. Bad Man was the other side of the coin, which is menstrual hygiene. So young girls at puberty, they are so scared on the one hand and embarrassed and shy on the other hand to talk about periods. There was a time when this was a taboo. Nobody used to talk about periods. And the fact that periods is so natural, and that there are devices to arrest the periods, and there's so much of talk that during the periods women cannot work, during the periods women can't go to the temple. All these old mindsets need to be busted open, and we have to promote women empowerment, women productivity, women motivation more than anything else. And so menstrual hygiene is a part and parcel of hygiene management of the women. And everywhere we should see that women have the separate menstrual rooms for baby feeding also. And all this, the understanding of women's health and hygiene is critical to our nation's growth. And I still feel we have not reached the echelons of achievement in that space. And I'm committed to see that there will come a day, even my friends from urban society, they complain, we are going on a highway and for the life of me, we cannot find a toilet. So men are very, it's not so much of a problem for men. In fact, when I first came into this business, a foreigner came to see our country, and we asked him, how you like India? So he said, in India, every time is tea time, every person is a doctor, and every place is a toilet. And that's when our journey started. And not see, for men, they can go and urinate somewhere which is bad. But and these same men, when they are in Singapore or some developed country, they are very disciplined. So we need to discipline ourselves first. And apart from that, we need to also see that, there are outlets for these foreign tourists everywhere. As you were talking in Manipur, one side is the camps. The other side in Manipur is that foreign tourists go there. So we need to give them the smart toilets, state-of-art toilets, which are automatic flushing, automatic opening of the doors. And there will be a time when the women will switch on Google and they will search for the nearest toilet in the Google map. That's what let
Wow.
us digitize. We need to digitize. It has to be, the smart toilets need to be operated by IoT and be available on the Google map. So no lady, just like you're trying to locate a particular location, you will now share location of the toilets. So they can go
Oh,
there and
wow.
do the toilet. So this is
What
the
an idea.
future which I envisage. Yes.
What an
So
idea.
all these things are going to happen. And women have to be a very big part of this journey.
What an idea. So just like, nowadays on the highway, if you're stranded, I just driven down from Lucknow to Delhi, and they come the stretch for hundreds of kilometers. There's no petrol pump over there. And so that is there's no convenience, there's no toilet also, obviously. So in fact, फिर बाद में हमको एक petrol pump मिला बड़ी मुश्किल से. So we had to search on the Google where's the nearest petrol pump. Similarly, you threw a very very good idea that where's the nearest toilet from here. So एक आखिरी आखिरी आपसे इतना गुफ्तगू में इतना अच्छा चर्चा करके लग रहा है. तो एक और बात समझनी है सर. Sir, Abhi, a few years back, about a couple of few years before the pandemic, there was Ed Sheeran who had come down to India to perform. And I was detailed with him. In fact, we were looking after his hospitality, security, his management. And we found a lot of public toilets which were plastic, which were portable toilets. What is the difference between a portable toilet and a biodegradable toilet, sir, which you are doing great work on?
That's a great question. There's a big myth that any plastic toilet is a bio toilet. And I've
Hmm.
got fed up telling them, listen, this is not a bio toilet. The portable toilet is a toilet where you can release the waste into a tank below. But there is no treatment of the toxic waste over there.
Right.
Please note.
Correct.
Now, what happens with these portable toilets, which are normally given on rentals, is that you have to suck out the toxic waste from there, and this toxic waste is then dumped into some pond or some other space. So basically, you are just converting from the transferring from one toxic place to another toxic place. You are not doing anything for the macro treatment of the toxic human waste. A bio toilet, on the other hand, is a portable toilet with a biodigester tank underneath, which is charged with bacteria, multi-strain bacteria. In this bacteria, one strain digests protein, one strain digests celluloids, one strain digests fat, and one strain, it neutralizes odor. And these bacteria were developed by NASA scientists over the last 40 years, whom we have adapted for Indian conditions. So in these bacteria, it feeds upon the toxic waste and neutralizes into neutral water, and this water gets ejected from the tank into a soak pit or harmlessly into the soil. And now let me tell you a very, very important aspect of the biotoil. Not only does it need half of the amount of water to flush, but the non-toxic neutral water which is being discharged does not contaminate groundwater. And this is the most significant difference between a conventional septic tank and a biodigester tank. Whichever way you look at it, a septic tank will always be armed with leaking toxic waste. And this toxic waste will get into the groundwater. Today, all battles will be fought on water. You've all learned that water conservation is going to be the milestone on which, again, we'll be able to reach Viksit Bharat only when we have proper water with us. Now, China is trying to grab our water. All the other neighbors are trying to grab our waters. Every battle is going to be fought on water. So it is a crime if we are not able to conserve water. One of the most important aspects of biotoilets is that we conserve water. And since we are conserving water, it becomes a climate resilient um, uh, technology. And with the climate resilient technology, we can get a lot of funds to plant more bio-toilets because we are saving water. Today, all our groundwater is contaminated. What's happened to you? You have heard about one of the reasons why AAP lost the elections is due to the pollution of the Yamuna. Similarly, the pollution is there of Ganga and Saraswati and all the Brahmaputra. What happens because of the conventional systems of septic tank and sewer line? All the treated waste get dumped into the river. Who has asked them to dump this into the river? Nowadays, there are tenders which come out for the government from the municipal corporations which stop this untreated waste from entering into the river and ask for fecal sludge treatment plants, FSTP plants, which will divert this and neutralize this so that untreated waste doesn't get into the rivers. And that is why the National Ganga of Clean Mission had been formed. So the government of India has done everything, but implementation on the ground is sorely lacking, and not due to the fault of anybody. Let me tell all of you very bluntly, let us not depend on the government to deliver goodies to us and to deliver things from the stars into our hands. As responsible citizens, we need to make a difference. All of us have to make a difference, and all of us have to put our mind together. This is a problem of all citizens of India. Why are we polluting our rivers? We have to be responsible. In a very small way, I went out of my corporate job and I tried to be responsible. And I entreat and plead with all of you to join me in being responsible citizens so that we can see our country reach this huge glory and get the respect which is already having, thanks to our honorable Prime Minister, but it will have much more respect. And then there will come a time when the honorable Donald Trump will think twice before handcuffing immigrants and bring them back to India. Right now, is 50% of the way there, but 50% of the respect will be there when they will see our country so clean, like Singapore. We want to make the whole of India like Singapore, but that's not going to be easy because we have a huge population, and all the population needs to rise as one and be counted and understand. Echoing the words of Kennedy, don't ask what the nation can do for you, ask what you can do for the nation. And that the government and the people together, all of us together, we can work together for a wonderful nation that we have. And believe me, if we come forward, see, we are voting for our politicians. And I always say that you get the government you deserve. You voted for them. So you have to demand work from them. As simple as that. When I go and meet any politician or any minister, I'm very blunt that you jolly well have to do this for your constituency, for your nation. Yeah, I mean, we are not here to give you applause for being a VIP. Sorry, I've come to you for work. We voted for you. Then I think it's your duty to join hands. And believe me, nobody takes any offense at this. When you present it properly, it's all understood. In fact, there was this old ad of Chai when this fellow was asking that minister, आप क्या कर रहे हैं हमारे देश के लिए? वो तो आसमान से गिरा रहे देश के लिए क्या कर रहे हैं? He thought his main work was to have a good time and siphon money and do that. अभी हमको कुछ काम भी करना पड़ेगा. ये तो उनका दिमाग ही नहीं है. Very, very surprisingly. So we have to hammer it into our politicians and the people who are in charge, even the opposite, that your job is to serve society. Please do that. Serve it till it hurts. That's something which I always learned from Rotary. Give till it hurts. And then you would have said that you lived a life worth living. You look back and say that, yeah, you tried to do something, right? Not just get into a corporate job and have a great salary and everybody will praise you. Wow, what a great job this guy's doing. But then you can fool everybody on earth. You cannot fool yourself. When you ask yourself, at the end of 7 years, Everybody said that I was a madman. How dare you leave the Tatas? Are you crazy? And if I had not left, everybody would have been happy. But I would have been hollow inside. When I went to bed every day, I wondered, what did I do to make a better world? What did I do to improve the lives of people? What did I do to use all my education and experience to contribute something? So when the answer is very clear, so I followed the answer as far as it happened. Yes, everybody needs wealth and money in this world, but I think a little bit of balance is also required. We all need to have this mentality of wanting to change the face of the nation and make a better world for everybody.
What you said is so right, sir. We all need wealth. I mean, without wealth, without if I don't have the source or the funding and I have the cause, I have the intention to make a change, but I don't have the funding, how can I bring about the change? I cannot. I would have my limitation. And what you are doing right now as a social entrepreneur, I'm telling you, it's a very, very good step. And I can see the world changing with this, as you rightly said, or a journey to 1,000 miles starts with a single step. उसे एक शेर भी याद आता है, मजनू सुल्तानपुरी ने खूब कहा था, मैं तो अकेले ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल, मैं तो अकेले ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल, मगर लोग साथ आते गए और कारवां बनता गया. And sir, before I let you go, lastly, I know last करके ये बहुत लंबा खींच लिया, मगर ये आपका ये idea and your mission and your vision and your efforts and your endeavors, how old are they? I mean, which year did you start thinking about it, and आपका सफर अब तक कैसा रहा, sir?
Well, I passed out from engineering college in 1980, mechanical engineering from Jadavpur University. And then 1980 to 82, I was with the National Institute Nichi, Mumbai, which is today I am Mumbai. And then 7 years in Tata Motors, which was then called Telco. So after, as I said, launched a few products for the first time in India, it was in 2010 that I joined Stone India, and that is when my journey started in this
Okay.
environment consciousness field. Today
15
is
years.
2025, it's been 15 years. And I hope
Great.
that God will give me good health so that I can generate wealth for the nation and a little bit for myself, probably.
You will, sir. You will, and not only that, you would be. I mean, it's something you'll inspire many people to come and do the great work that you are doing. Sir, thank
Please
you. I
do
sincerely
join in.
thank you
Yeah.
for your time. I sincerely
Thanks
thank
so
you for your
much.
time,
It's been a
sir.
pleasure. Yeah.
It's been such an honor and a pleasure, sir. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you.
Jai Hind, sir.
Thank you.
And I hope your
Jai
endeavor is
Hind.
grows. Thank you, sir. Jai Hind, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.